Audio article by the Common Constitutionalist entitled Cashless Command and Control is Coming. We've all seen them, futuristic movies where the world, nay, the galaxy, runs on only transfers of electronic currency. In the Marvel movie Guardians of the Galaxy, the transfer of credits was commonplace. In the 1986 film Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, Captain Kirk, Spock, and others travel back in time to the 20th century San Francisco. When confronted by the local hero in the movie about their lack of funds, she says, "I suppose you don't use money in the future," to which Kirk shrugs and says, "No, they don't." For most, back in the 80s, not using cash was unthinkable. Now, a mere 30 years later, it's fast becoming a reality. Progressive European nations like Sweden, Denmark, and Norway are already well on their way to a totally cashless economy. Today, 4 out of 5 transactions in Sweden are electronic. The nation of India has begun demonetizing cash, beginning with the RS 500, which is about $7.50, and the RS 1000, which is about $15. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced last Tuesday an effort to fight corruption by invalidating those most widely circulated currency bills in the country. In place of cash, banks in India have already so far issued 25.9 million credit cards and 697.2 million debit cards. Yesterday, Zero Hedge reported that on November 16th, banking giant UBS proposed that eliminating Australia's $150 bills would be good for the economy and good for banks. The sales pitch promoted by governments, banks, and a variety of know-it-all eggheads is that going cashless will save money, not having to produce and print cash, not to mention constantly monitoring its circulation. Another of the most compelling reasons is traceability. It is said that cashless transactions can help prevent terrorist financing, money laundering, fraud, and tax evasion. Paper money tends to end up in the black market because it can't be followed the way digital exchanges can. Here in America, going cashless will be sold to the unsuspecting and uninformed as helping to curb illegal immigration and the illegal drug trade, as both deal almost exclusively in cash. Those in favor will also highlight the aforementioned terror financing angle. So far, at least, none of these nefarious industries take credit cards, or EBT, yet. This all sounds rather great, does it not? Yes, it does until we consider the downside, which is frightening. But the sales pitch, like other ideas, great as they are, like Obamacare, will be reasonable, common-sense measures suggested by the government to get us to buy into this latest nightmare. Like Obamacare, which seeks to control the public by holding its need for health care hostage, so too will a cashless economy by holding our finances hostage. The proposal of a cashless society is another means of centralized government command and control, nothing more. It's the perfect remedy to a free society. President Bill Clinton summed up the real reason for a cashless society in 1999 when he said, regarding not giving the surplus back to the people, "We could give it all back to you and hope you spend it right, but if you don't spend it right, here's what's going to happen." Leftist community planners and Agenda 21 advocates will also hail the cashless plan, as people will have to begin to migrate closer to cities due to connectivity required for going completely cashless. The banks will more easily remain in the black, as government has already given the authority to recoup losses by means of a bail-in. A bail-in is similar to a bailout, except that instead of banks taking money from the government, the taxpayers, they will merely withdraw a certain percentage from everyone's bank account. The days of personal financial transactions will also go the way of the dodo. Everything must have traceability. No longer will one able to have a simple yard sale, a lemonade stand, or even sell their vehicle with a simple yard sign. The government will have full traceability of everyone's money and every transaction, where and when we spend and for what. As Bill alluded to, government can monitor transactions to be sure we are spending our money wisely and eventually take action to curb our wrong behavior. And of course, just like what happened during the idiotic prohibition experiment passed in 1918, whole black market industries will crop up. An entire shadow economy will be created in an attempt to thwart the overreach, intrusion, and control by the federal government. It will be great, and I can't wait. Thanks for listening.